Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time we'll take a look at the 1998 TRD 2000GT. You might be asking yourself, didn't you cover this car last time? No, that was the completely different Tom's TO20. This is the TRD 2000GT. That is very different, although unfortunately comes in exactly the same colour. Yeah, I mean, by the game's definition, it's a different car. Obviously, this one has more power, which we'll get to in a second. Visual differences, this unfortunately does not have the fantastic snorkel, but I actually really like the body kit on this thing. I think it looks sort of similar to the standard GTS's, but I think that sort of front bumper is different, and I really like it. It does very much look like an imitation Ferrari F355, which is nothing but a good thing. To be honest, I think it does look absolutely exquisite. Probably the best looking MR2 in the game, as much as I would like the snorkel. But yeah, I mean, this one obviously is turbocharged, or at least I hope it is, looking at those power figures. This is the other pre-tuned MR2 that you can get from the MR Challenge. So the question is, should you upgrade and spend money on the Tom's TO20, or should you spend it on the TRD 2000GT? Looking at the power figures, you'd say the 2000GT, but power isn't always helpful around our track, so we will find out today which one is better. Genuine consumer advice is about to happen for a game that's 26 years old. Anyways, mid-engine rear-wheel drive, 514 horsepower, 1,148 kilos. Very scary stats for a mid-engine car, if I'm being honest, and for a TRD in general, because that is not as loud as I thought it was going to be. Anyways, this car is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Audi TT LM Edition. That car set time of a 26.690. The TRD 2000GT unlikely to beat that. Now, as much as we're joking around about the Tom's TO20, this should be quicker. Even on this opening lap, it should definitely be getting close to it. And indeed it is quicker, by exactly 1,000th of a second, so we can stop talking about that car now. In terms of where this could go, the MR2 GTS, which is the only other turbocharged MR2 that's taken on the course yet, that's at a time of a 30.693, so if this can get somewhere near there, that would be good. This makes a little bit more power than that car did, but that car had a racing modification and this one doesn't. So that should make a bit of a difference. The one thing I am quite blown away with, I don't know if it's because it's just got more power and it can just sort of power around its limitations. This drives a lot nicer than that TO20 did. The TO20 felt sort of a bit compromised. You know, typical mid-engined car worries. The front end didn't really turn in all that well. You know, it's very sort of skittish over the bumps. This is definitely as skittish, but this does crucially weigh a little bit more, which I think is sort of helping it a little bit. And again, it's sort of got a big turbo, so it can power out of a lot of problems. But the one thing I'm definitely finding with this is, as much as it is sort of big turbo, which usually means problems with powering out of corners, it doesn't seem to have any issues with getting out of the corners. It is surprisingly planted. If I can get a decent lap out of this, which admittedly I'm making far more challenging than it actually should be, this is going to be a quick car. I think it's definitely got the opportunity to be quicker than that GTS we mentioned. Not even a hint of wheel spin there. I suppose that's sort of the... There is benefits to mid-engine cars in terms of traction out corners, and we're definitely seeing those benefits. Ooh, God. There we go. The traction sort of had to break at some point, but I'm happy with that lap time. I do think this could be a little bit quicker, to be honest, because that was a bit of a pedestrian lap, but yeah, it does handle nicer. It is a better car than that. If you're honestly picking between the TO20 and this, I would definitely choose this, because I mean, it's reflected in the lap time. It's just so much quicker. It's a really nice car to drive, that. Yeah, good car, good car. Not really a lot more to say than that, other than to say, yeah, it's a good car. Bit ashamed I couldn't really get more lap time out of it, because it does feel like there's definitely sort of 0.2 on the table there, potentially. As much as that lap was pretty good, I definitely could have pushed it in some areas that I didn't. So, although apparently according to that it was the quickest, so maybe I'll just shut my mouth and take it, but yeah, don't quote that out of context. Good time for the TRD 2000GT. Ironically enough, the Tom's Tier 20 tied with a Nissan, and this one is also going to tie with a Nissan. It's going to go to 172nd place. It's going to tie with the Nissan Silvia Qs, which was strangely quick, and I suppose this is strangely quick in a way. It is quicker than the Renault Clio Sport V6, Honda Accord, Honda Prelude, Audi A4 Avant, the 3000GT SR, FTO GPX. In terms of stuff, it's slower then. I mean, the Tommy Kaira M30 is up here, and that was a very quick sort of pre-tuned car. In terms of these sort of tuned cars from the dealerships, or from, well, the technical prize cars, but these sort of tuned models, if you will. This one's definitely up there on the quickest. It is quicker than the TRD 2000GT, which has 200 more horsepower than this, but was uncontrollable. Yeah, pretty good for this car, to be honest with you. There's not really a lot more to say about this. I'm assuming people sort of use this as a little bit of a leg up in the early game, because you do get this relatively early. And the mid-engine challenge isn't that much of a dawdle, especially the final race, which is 690 horsepower limit. But if you wet the big turbo on this, I mean, and some decent tyres, I think this could definitely compete with the quickest cars in the field there. So yeah, very, very good. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.